Hey people, I'm fixing to teach y'all how to read this old ancient Egyptian better than the Egyptologists. And this is the first knowledge. This is what they call the Ogdode, which is impossible to say, but it has a better name here. You know, these are the four Elphis, and it's the four Elphis and their female counterparts. And so this word Ogdode, they're getting that from here. You know, an og is a foot, og, footed, and then OAD to see odd. And here you got 9 feet. And you also, any language that you read, you know, you're going to see that they have odd feet, the odd footed. And so, being that Moses, you know, he had just left Egypt and he was raised in the Pharaoh's court, you know, this is the first thing he learned. This was the beginning of God's creation. You know, everybody goes to Sunday school when they're 5, and that's the first thing they start telling you, how God created the earth. So they say this old serpent here is the F, and it seems to me his tail's a little longer than usual, and so that's kind of looks like a Hebrew L, so I give it the L, but it's possibly just phi, or L phi, L PH, and then the feather is the I, and they'll pronounce it as A and give it an A a lot. But you know, just thinking about it, you know, if this is the first 4 gods of creation, yeah, they would probably be called the Alphis, Alphas. And so this is the Alpha, and then I'm not sure what this is just an artist's rendition. I can't find the original, but I'm gonna give this a Vav pin. Looks like a Vav, maybe a connector, you know, just a U. The Alpha is witch, WCH, you know, this is the Chet. The witch is, and then this is a different serpent here, and this is the serpent, Zzz. And so the witch is in, the letter N. And then this is Asher. You know, in the Bible it says, and I named his name Asher because happy I was, and Asher means happy. And this is a man, he's up dancing. He's Asher. And it's also, you know, whatever happened to the book of Asher, the man of upright, they call it. Asher is a word that give upright all through the Hebrew. And he's happy, he's upright and dancing. He might be old, but at least he can get up and dance still. But it all reads backwards too, just like the Hebrew. And you can see the codes in the way they stack letters and put them aside. So the same as the Hebrew, some combinations of letters read the same in either direction you're reading, you know. And so when you this is Asher, and this appears to be a jar, and then there's just 3 of these objects. I'm not sure what they are, but I think it just represents 3, as in U. When there's 3 of something, you know, it's pronounced nu, N-U. And when there's 3, you know, it's the ristus. And this is a ristu, and this is where your word the Christo comes from, you know. And one of them is a risto, and with 3 of them you just add a U at the end. And so, you know, this is a jar, and then a U, jaro, a jaro. And so a jar means a day, and that tells me these ancient Egyptians knew that days were caused by a gyro, the spin, and that's where that day and jar has in common. And then when you're reading it back the other ways, you know, Asher is then to rise, and you see him hold his hands up. He's rising this high, the water coming this high, it was this deep, I've had your shit up to here, you know. So when you read it backwards, it's, you know, just the U and the day and the jar and the day rise, you know, rising NZ, the day of risen is. And so this is the first God, you know, Amen. And he says, you know, Yod, I, men, Amen. This is a block of earth with a bunch of little uprights on it. And sometimes they say it's an Amen, and most time when they're reading it, they just give an M and they cut the N out. But it's, you know, if you're drawing a picture of men, an earth with a bunch of things standing up, one man is just one stick man, and a bunch of them, you know, you don't do all the detail, you just show how many men you have. I men, and then the N is seed. I men seed. I seeded the men. And then his wife is Annette, Annettu, Annetta. And it's, I and in, and then seed to Toa. And this is a picture of an egg. And it's in the Greek, when you see a word end with a T, or there's a word just T-O-U, and it have the little wave above the U, it means to read the O again, and so it's Toa. And Toa means to come out of, in, seed, Toa, to come out of. And so this is the creation story of lizard people, and if you 5 years old and you think of your dog as a boy and your cat as a girl, or you think of your frog as the man and the serpent as the woman, and their children are going to come out lizards, they're going to be serpents with arms. And so, either way you're reading it, it's saying the same thing. This is a seed, but this is also a seed, and it's in net, N-T, in net, ova, a seed, an egg. But you can see how they're facing here, the same facing here that lets you know that this is the point, and this reads this way and this way, and this way and this way. And so this reads, I men seed in it of. I men seed in it of, the feminine part. And then it reads back the other way, and it's, W-O-T-N-N-Y. And it's, O-V, tan, T-N-N, of tan, I-N, of tannin, many. And I men seed in it ova, of tannin, many. And you can see in the Egyptian it has the mark over the O, so it doesn't read Ogdos, but it's S-A, so, and so O-D, odd, so odd, G-O, so odd go, God of as, so odd go, God of as, the O here is just of, so odd go, God of as, and they are some odd gods, they got strange feet, strange heads, and everybody over here has got 2 right hands, and everybody over here got 2 left hands. They're pretty strange. And so this phi over here, Q-I-U, this means teachings, is what they'll say in the Hebrew, my teaching of that El Phi. And you can see here, they're interpret this as rain and distilling the dew, as rain drops, a tender herb, and showers on the grass. And the first word in here I told you, was easy, new. And so new is the first and the last. He's down here. These 3 N's, N and 3 of them makes it a U, new. But the real name, that's what he does. But the real name is here. And this looks like the same old jar, 3 of them, is a jaru, the jar run. And so this is represents the night, and it's a N-U-T, and you see it here and here. So it's just an easier way of representing nut, or the night. And so it kind of looks like a bed, and sometimes it's the night sky, over the star here. But it represents night, but it's just a N-U-T. And it's the day, the jar run what? N-U-T-R-U-N-U-T. The jar run what? New. And this is the old symbol for a tet. It's N-T-H, N-T-E. And it's, where net comes from. It means to collect, the net. And the net in what? Net, T-E-N-W-T, N-U-T. The net in what? Tova, to come out of. The T and the C, the et, the feminine counterpart. And so, all these pictures are all words. And give it an ear, easy, new. And it's all about the rain, the still dew, raindrops and showers, the jarring what new. And so, it's probably where your word the green comes from here. GARUN, what? The garn, what new. And because that's what his job was to flood every year to bring in the new black fertilizer. And they'll call this sky and waters. And the name is paralleled with nen, meaning inactivity. And it's in a play of words. From I raise them up from out of the watery mass is in a new beginning. From out of inactivity, from the nen. And so that's here, this is na, ni, and nu. And so just the first two ends are ni, N-E, and this would be just single N, nen. And so nen is new. It's all the same. Then on the other side over here, I'm not sure about this. That's what this is the main reason I was trying to find the original. You see how this eye is kind of dead centered up, and this one's sitting out. And here the eye is moved farther to the back, and this one's in a little closer. And it makes me think this is not the same word. It makes me think it pronounces different. Maybe, F-I-W, few, of the alpha, which is in. And then this is, this is the letter B everywhere, and it represents house. And Egypt, they say it still represents a house, but they say it pronounces it H. But I'm going to go with B like everybody else in the world says. It's B-Y, two-eyed, by. And the few by. And then this is a S. It's a folded S. And this appears to be the P, the pay, the face, and then the nut, N-U-T. And it's the S-P-N-W-T, the spinwet. And then you'll see a man this down lower here who might have a net in his hand or something. The spinwet, all low. Maybe that's where they get that word low from. All in hearing, hair and hearing. And his sign, is two H's, is hatch. And hatch is the way something is shaded, its colors. And even in black and white, by the directions of hatches drawn on something, you would know what color that a black and white artist was trying to represent. And that's what hatch is, is the hatch. And the hatch, and then the wear is just the U. It's a little aware. Sometimes he has short legs. You have to watch him. When he has short legs, it means lower. You see over here, he's stooped down. He's lower. But I believe that this single flag here represents Risto, R-I-S-T-O. And it's an ancient word that means the red flag, the Risto. When Risto would be the red flag that we hoist up on the boat in order to send messages. And so it's hatch, W-R, where, I-S-T-O. The hatch where is to. The color where is to is his knowledge. And then the hatch, W-T, the hatch what? Ova. The hatch what egg, the hatch to come out of, the color to come out of. The Risto is red, and I believe this means pink, the color of what ova, the color of the ova, color of the egg. And so a man, first learn M-N, some from cycles, in cycle, learn in the cycles, how regular it is. And then next, learn the color, where is to, W-R-I-S-T-O, where is to, and color of red. And learn that your feet are your dogs, D-O-G, a og is a foot, through the foot is a dog. And then this looks like a sword, so I'm going to give it a Z. The Z was the plow, the knife to cut. And it could be represented as a sword in many languages. The phi. And the phi was nuck. N-K, nuck is to fit in. The phi was to fit in 3 R's. Risto and then UK. And so was the phi was nuck was fit in the restoke, O-U-K, to restoke something, to stoke up the land, to cover it with good fertilizer again, to stoke the fire, to get it burned again. And then you have a hare here, H-A-R-E, and so it's the phi, W-H-A-R-E, the phi wherein. And this is possibly a hatched moon. It's hard to tell with his renditions, but a hatched moon is also the chet, same as this letter here, the chet. It means the shades of the moon. And the phi wherein notched. And so notched is, it's spot, in notched, and then 3 is the W-R-I-S-T-O, where is 2. And the phi wherein notched, where is 2. And notched where is 2 are all the notches on this cane over here. This is a story pole. This is a mason story pole. And every layer of brick, you go on each end, you raise your string out 1 notch to make sure you got a good level story going on. Story pole to raise it up a notch. So you can see them here in what they call an older Roman art. And all this blue art is coming off the ceiling in Dendra. Most all that blue art you see comes from Dendra. And you see that the names are spelled a little different. It's spelt with this desert crown, it looks like. And it's a desert. It's a desert. And it replaces with D-E-S-R-T, or just D-S-R-T. And so now it's, the Feds Writ, R-T. Feds Writ. And this is probably a U here. This is the best picture of this I can get. I'll have to study it a little more. But yeah, that's what this appears to be, is the desert crown. And so the Feds, they'll call that the Holy in the Hebrew. And it looks like Nu's name has just been changed to Green what. And then a symbol I don't recognize. Kind of looks like a pi symbol with a bottom. Like they had Nu stuck with Gemini. And you can see it over here in this guy smiling, the desert crown. And he's smiling. He got a beard tied on. That means he's got wisdom. You got a beard, you got wisdom. If you had time to grow it and braid it. He got a smirk on him. You could tell, he's military man. He's of the Feds. But you can see in his eyes and his corner of his lips, he's wanting to smile because he knows how funny this is. And he's a statue, he's telling you this is a statue. That's coming from to stand. That's a standing law. Rules made by legislative bodies. That's planets. So what it looks like here is, this is the Ogdo down here at the feet. And this is a comic strip of these old swingers. That's what it looks like, a swingers party. They're young. And he says, I'm Nen. I am an N. I'm Nen. And his old lady stands up and says, yeah, in it of what Nen in many. I give him many sons. In it of at none in many. And he says, hey there, Nen of many. I'm Hatcheristo, the hatcher what of, at which here is two, which, at which here is to which. And that's which with a double H, W-H-H. And then it gets older, and it's jars of water inside the bed. I gotta get up and pee 30 times a night. He's the gyro that turns the night new. And then neath, N-T-H, neath, night sky, towa, to come out of, T-O-W-A, or to what, T-O-W-O-T, and to what, night, then new, or none, N-N-U, and then N, the none what, gyro, the none what turn. But yeah, that's what I showed in that movie yesterday in the Greek, is when it rained, it says that the gods were dumping their potties. And the jar when what new, neath night to what nothing, N-U-T-T-H-N, the night what nothing new. Yeah, we don't get up a whole lot no more at night. What's new? Nut, not turning, not gyro. Nothing new. And this guy's still trying to hold his smirk back. And then this one here is Kiki, and that means the account keeper. Keeping count of the night, the aster, the stars, the wise man. And keeping count of the night stars too, But I believe this 5 point, I believe this is a spur and not a star. And so it's kick, the K-I-K-I-N-W-T, kicking what, W-T-S, the kicking what's pure wise men. And this is the cooking in the kitchen, and cooking what spur it to, what spirit to, the cooking what spirit to, tova, to come out, the cooking what spirit, and then back the other way, what sporn, W-T-S-P-R-N, what spurn, what's kick, the wise man's porn, what kiki, what keep account. The wise man's porn, the wise man, S, and P-U-R, spur, P-U-R-N-W-T, the porn, what keep count. And so wise man's porn is watching the stars of the night. And this is also where that word, of the noster comes from. I put in that movie yesterday, you see in the Greek. So I was hoping I could go over all this and go over news some more and read some more in that Hebrew. But yeah, that's what it's all about, that poem. It's about new. And the rest of them are holding him back. Easy, new. New's out front. He's ready to charge in. And the rest of them holding him back. It's also where your word news comes from. If it's not new, it's not news, it's old. And so that's what this says, is easy new, we says. Miss whatever what schmo hears them reply. Whatever what schmo. But this is the gods of language, and these are words, not names. The Phi and my teachings. And you start mixing these up and marrying different ones off, and you learn more about the language. But yeah, Nu was the god of destruction and renew. And so this is where I'm going to start on my next movie. This one's getting long, and my computer's kind of slow here.
Don't forget, I won't forget.
Alright, I'm going to cut this off here. Good day.